Security Breach is my favorite Five Nights at Freddy's game. Hi there. I'm the dried up worm that you found on the sidewalk and felt a little bit bad for, and Security Breach was not a good game. However, I really like it. I even made this cuff. It says Superstar. I spent a lot of time on this. Now, I think I can speak for just about anyone who is a fan of this franchise when I say that Security Breach looked so promising from the trailers, and everyone was super, super excited for it. Now, at the time that it came out, my brain wasn't fully cooked yet. It's still a little raw in the middle, but don't worry about that part. And I didn't have the mental capacity to conceptualize the fact that it just wasn't as good as I thought it was. However, my parents have left me unsupervised while they go on a cruise for a week, and in an effort to maintain some sort of sanity in the fact that I live in the middle of nowhere, I have rewatched Markiplier's Security Breach playthrough. And, like I said, now that my brain is a little more cooked, I realized just how bad it is. The storyline is incredibly disjointed and just holds your hand through the entire thing, which honestly it kind of needs, because I feel like I was put into a washing machine just watching somebody play it. And a con of the hand-holding is that you never really get to figure anything out on your own. In my opinion, that is one of the more fun aspects of especially these sort of free roam, not necessarily open world, but just big free roam games where there is a storyline that you need to figure out, but there is a ton of other things that you can do. And the fun part is getting those things done and using your context clues to get there. However, there really isn't a lot of that in Security Breach. Every time, Freddy just tells you what to do and where to go, and there's some options like, oh, you can either go get the Faz Cam, or you can go get the Phaser Blaster, or oh, you can take out Chica, or you can take out Monty. You know, that's the extent of your choice. Not to mention, with some of the things that you do figure out on your own, there's no clear indicators for some things. Like the message about the Monty mix, or the fact that you have to put Chica in the trash compactor, is just hidden in with all the other messages that you get and find throughout the Pizzaplex. There's also no really good integration of all of the characters within the story. Obviously, Gregory and Freddy are very well integrated because they're kind of the main parts of the story, but everyone else, especially Vanny, is just kind of there, and they're reduced to annoying patrol bots. I think it would have been really interesting to see more about these characters. For example, the fact that Roxy has self-image issues, or that Chica eats, which is just interesting on its own because she is a robot, or Monty's anger issues, or Bonnie just being dead. There is so much there that could have been phenomenal to explore more, but it's just left at that, and it's kind of just a detail. But on the topic of detail, I think it is amazing that they put so much attention to detail in this game. There's wet floor sign robots, which they could have just done normal wet floor signs, but instead they made these stupidly adorable little robots. They could have also just left the boxes a little more blank and generic, but they went through and they put little Fazbear Pizza or whatever logos on all of the boxes, and they had the bathrooms decorated, and they had all of the little designs for all the in-game merch stuff that you find. And I like the addition of having Mr. Hippo and El Chips and these little throwaway characters that they put into this game and they took the time to design assets for. The level design is awesome, on top of just the general aesthetic. I'm a little bit of a sucker for that sort of idealized 80s glam aesthetic. Never mind the fact that the 80s was actually just really brown. But I think they really hit the nail on the head of the vibes that they were going for. And I just wish it had panned out better. There was clearly a very different vision for this game, and I wish. My dream is that one day we can get like the security breach that could have been, and we can see what Scott and Steel Wool's original plan was, because we know that Steel Wool can make good games. Help Wanted 1 and 2 were huge hits, and people loved those games. And then Security Breach just kind of fell off, and I do not think that that is the fault necessarily of the actual game developers. Granted, there were tons of issues with bugs and optimization, and part of that kind of just comes down to having more time to develop the game and having more time to play test everything. But I think the original vision, had they stuck with that and had that actually panned out, I think, like I said, it would have been an absolute standalone title, and I think it would have been like the crowning achievement of this franchise. In my heart of hearts, I still think that Security Breach was a good and kind of cool game, despite all of its charm. And I think it really could have been such an amazing game, rather than the joke it kind of ended up as, had they just had a little more time and cleaned up the storyline, worked out all the kinks, and stuck with their original vision. But, you know, we kind of just got a disappointment. And this is basically just a ramble based on a Discord message that I sent my friends a few days ago that I wanted to put on the internet for some reason. But I do truly love this game, and I love this franchise, and I am very glad to see where it is. Some days I wish I could just go back to when the original Five Nights at Freddy's released, and the biggest mysteries were, where did the kids come from, and oh, they stuffed the kids in the suits? I miss that feeling, and I miss the excitement and hype in the original stuff. I miss when we thought that Phone Guy was the murderer. And sure, the lore has gotten extremely convoluted in the last decade, and it's kind of turned into nonsense, and I think that's probably why MatPat retired. But I love this franchise, and I'm excited for what's still to come, and I think Into the Pit was a amazing game. I've also been watching that, and it's just so well done. The sound design, the music, the graphics are just perfect. But I think Security Breach still kind of deserves some of the love, and I think all of the criticism is very well justified. But I just wish that we could have gotten a super cool game rather than the joke that we ended up with. And I'm aware that talking about what the game could have been and how good it could have been doesn't make it a good game, but I just wanted to ramble. And if you stayed all the way to the end of this, thank you. I make other content. I make stuff on TikTok and I post on Instagram. I also have a Tumblr. They're all under Sweet and Condensed Rage. I also have a candy pad under Sweet and Condensed Rage if you want to see all the patterns that I've made. But thanks for watching. I don't know if this video will see the light of day. I have a few more ideas for videos that I might make. But thanks. Appreciate it.